Coming up on The Potter's Touch.
The only way you can be a survivor is because you've been through something. And the only reason why the stuff didn't kill you is because God kept you. Are there any survivors in the house? Would you pull your neighbor by the hand and say, when you've been through something, you don't have to wait for nobody to pump you up. You ain't got to wait for nobody to preach you up. When you look over the stuff you've been.
This is the Potter's Touch.
Hello, I'm Lady Sarita Jakes, and I am so delighted to be able to share with you the best of Woman Thou Art Loose 2013. Yes, and guess what? I didn't even know I was pregnant. Gotcha, huh? No, that's the message from Dr. Jazz during Woman Thou Art Loose 2013. Do you know what your potential is? Could it be that you're expecting? Watch this.
The average woman up in here understands that you know when you are pregnant, but it has been stated by a medical doctor that 1 out of 7,000 women, somebody holler one, 1 out of 7,000 women, not every woman, but 1 out of 7,000 can go through 3 trimesters, can go through 9 months, and at least 40 weeks and have no clue that she's pregnant. And because she has no clue that she's pregnant, the only way that God can reveal that she is that he has to infiltrate her with pain. God help me up in here. I'm trying to help some of y'all. Your pain has purpose. There's a reason why you are in pain. And the pain is not over what you lost. It's about what you're about to gain. And the reason why the devil can't stand you is because he sees a preview of your coming attraction. I need about 100 people up in here. I need about a couple of thousand people who said the reason why the devil can't stand me is not because of what I've been through. It's what I'm about to go through. It's not because of what I lost. It's because of what I'm about to gain. Would somebody pull your neighbor hand and say, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. It has been suggested that you can go, trust this, that you can go through at least one. I want y'all to look down your row and say, one of y'all is pregnant and you don't even know it. Come on, ask them, say, which one is it? Which one is it? One of y'all got dreams, but you don't even know it. One of you got visions and you don't even know. And that's why God brought you up in here, because you're about to birth something. I need about 2,000 women in here who said, I'm about to give up something. I'm about to birth something. I'm about to She doesn't know that she's pregnant, and the reason why she doesn't is because she ignores the signs and the symptoms. The only way she has any indication that she is pregnant is because out of nowhere there comes an unbelievable sharp pain, and it's a pain she cannot take medicine for. It's a pain that Dr. Phil can cure. So she's dragged to the ER, and when she gets to the ER, after being examined, she's told that this is not regular pain, but rather it's labor pain. Well, don't feel bad that you missed the sign and the symptom, because the children of Israel have done the same thing. Michael Micah, Israel's midwife, shows up to inform them that they are pregnant with possibility. Micah informs them that the signs and the symptoms are in their face. Micah, Israel's midwife, become God's spokesperson to Israel. Micah says to Israel, in the near future, soon there is going to be coming something that God is going to do in your life. He says God is about to do something, and because he has a plan for your life. Micah informs them of God's plan. His plan is in verse 6. His plan is to gather together a certain group of women. His plan is to gather together a certain group of women. And the women he's gathering are not women about clothes, not about shoes, not about crib, not about cash. But Micah says in verse 6 that he's gathering 3 groups of women in Dallas, Texas. The first group that he's gathering is the women who are halted. That word halted is another word for being stuck. He's gathering women in the arena in Dallas who's been stuck with life, who is stuck in dead-end relationships, who is stuck in dead ministry, who has been sitting on the sideline waiting for something to happen to them instead of them getting up and make something happen. Micah says that God is gathering a group of women who are not concerned about cash, who ain't concerned about clothes, who's not concerned about crib, who's not concerned about cars, but he's gathering a group of women who have been stuck, they've been stuck. But the second group of women that Micah said that God is gathering is not only those who are stuck, but he's gathering those who've been separated. It's right there in the text. He said, I'm gathering those who've been an outcast. Now this ain't for everybody, but there's a couple of thousand of y'all up in here who said, I know what it is to be an outcast. I know what it is to be an underclass. I know what it is that when people see me coming, because they don't understand my story, they can't appreciate my shout. I came to gather some people who are separated. You just don't fit. You haven't found a sorority to belong to. I wish I had a church in here. You haven't found a fraternity. You haven't found a girls club. And so you've been going all by yourself because you don't seem to fit in. He said, I'm gathering women who are stuck. I'm gathering women who are. But the third group he said that God has gathered again is those who've been suffering. I'm just in verse 6. He said, I'm gathering those who have been afflicted. Those who've been crying when nobody is around. That you look good in the arena, but when I take a good look at your face, your smile is out of place and your tears have become your pillow. Micah said God's plan is to gather in Dallas, Texas, 3 kind of women. He's gathering women who are stuck. He's gathering women who are separated, and he's gathered women. That's his plan in verse 6. But verse 7 and 8, it's his purpose. Because God never gathers you if he doesn't have a purpose for you. And so if he got you here, it's because he's got a purpose for you to be. He's gathered 3 groups of women who are stuck, and who are. That's the plan. says God gathers us because he wants to make us something so he can give us something. I told y'all I got an accent. He wants to make me something before he gives me something. Because if he don't make me before he give me, I'll destroy what he give me. I need about 1,000 women up in here. Say, neighbor, the reason why he hasn't given it to you yet is because he's still making you, because you ain't ready to handle what he's about to. He is making me something so he can. And look what he's making me. He's making me, in verse 7, a survivor. Okay, I thought you won't shout over there. Because the only way you can be a survivor is because you've been through something. And the only reason why the stuff didn't kill you is because God kept you. Are there any survivors in the house? Would you pull your neighbor by the hand and say, when you've been through something, you don't have to wait for nobody to pump you up. You ain't got to wait for nobody to preach you up. When you look over the stuff you've been, where the survivors at? I said, where the survivors at? You survived going through chemotherapy. You survived cancer. You survived the loss of a job. You survived a divorce. I can always tell a survivor because you got a different kind of praise. You got a different kind of shout. Are there any survivors? He gathers me. I'm sorry, I'm a Bible preacher. He gathers me, and he gathers how many kind of women? What's the first group? He gathered those who are. He gathered those who are. He gathered those who are. Now tell your sister, say, I ain't trying to get in your business, but I know you're one of them. God help me. Come on, say, I don't know which one you are, but I know you're one of them. He gathers them so he can make them something. And look what he's making them. He's making them a remnant. That's another word for survivor. He's making them outlive what they've been through. God, I need about somebody right here. In other words, when he bring you out of this, you ain't gonna look like nothing like that. Would you slap five at your neighbor and say, the only reason why you don't think I've been through something is because I don't look like what I've been through. But if you knew what I've been through, you'll open your mouth, throw your head back, and give God a survive. Come on, tell your neighbor, say, I don't look like what I've been through. Come on, say, I don't smell like what I've been through. I don't act like what I've been through. If you knew what I've been through, you'll understand my...
Still to come on The Potter's Touch.
The pain you're feeling is not because of your past. It's because of your future. It's not because of what you lost. It's what you're about to gain. It's not because you're broke. It's because you're blessed. Because the devil don't mess with nobody who ain't got nothing going on. Would you pull your neighbor by the hand and say, neighbor, if you ain't got it going on, the devil won't be messing with you. But if he's messing with you, it's because you're just about to go into...
To get where God wants you, you have to be on the move.
What you used to be satisfied with, you're not satisfied with anymore. And all of a sudden, you don't fit in the places you used to fit in. They say things like, you forgot where you came from. I didn't forget it, I just can't stay in it.
With your gift of any size, you'll receive the message On the Move from Woman Thou Art Loosed on CD.
If I've got to pull and tug, I I've got to get out. I've got too much vision to stay in this rut.
And when your gift is $75 or more, you'll receive the entire 6-DVD series, Women Thou Art Loosed at MegaFest.
Every stubborn thing that stood in my life and said, you've got to stay where you started, somebody holler, no!
However, with your gift of $145 or more, you'll receive the On the Move gift set that includes a custom tote bag, the Woman Thou Art Loose 6-DVD series, and the Colliding with Destiny and the Princess Within books. Move into your destiny today.
He's got a plan to gather the sick, the stuck, the separated, and the suffering. I move from his plan to now his purpose. And his purpose is to make me something so he can give me something. After he makes me a survivor and after he makes me a strong city, he now gives me first dominion and then he gives me the kingdom. That's the purpose. But when I get to verse 9, Houston, we got a problem. There's a problem in verse 9. In verse 9, the response of the people is not celebration, but they're crying. They're crying or they are screaming so loud that Michael looks at them and says, why are you hollering, especially in disbelief? You don't believe anything good can happen in you, so you don't expect anything to come outside of you. But I come to kill the spirit of disbelief. I don't care if you don't see it, if you can't feel it, if God says it. They are hollering, they are screaming, they are crying in disbelief that Michael looks at them and he said, why are you screaming? Is there no king in you? Furthermore, don't you have somebody to give you advice? He said, your screaming or your hollering is equivalent to a woman in travail. Are y'all still here? He said, you're screaming and you're hollering because you are a woman who is in travail. You don't believe that God is going to give you something and you don't expect him to make you something. He said, every time you holler, your holler is not because of belief. Your holler is you don't believe that God got you on his mind. God help me right here. You don't believe that you're next in line for the next breakthrough and the next miracle, so you have tuned out God. But God sent me by to let you know, believe it or not, it's still true. He said, why are you screaming? And then he used that word. He said, you're hollering. Come on, sit down. You're hollering like a woman in pain. But if you look at the text, you will notice how he spells it. It sounds like P-A-I-N, but it is spelled P-A-N-G. I'm sorry, I'm a Bible preacher. He said, the reason why I use that word is because that's the word that is used in the medical world to describe not just regular pain, but it describes labor pain. I moved you from his plan. I showed you his purpose. I showed you your problem, but then he moved me to my pain. He said the reason why pain has inflicted you is because you don't believe that there's something inside of you. So the only way I can let you know that something is growing inside of you is I got to get it to start kicking. So I've got to get it start moving now. What amazes me, y'all, is that Micah is broken up in 3 trimesters. You do understand that you don't just get pregnant and deliver the next day. You got to at least go through. I didn't say semesters, I said trimester. And the difference between trimesters and semester is one is 2 and the other one is 3. The first one is your test. The second one is your testimony. But the third one is your triumph. The first one is your distress. The second one is your delivery. But your third one is in your dominion. And here's the problem with some of you. All you see me is in my first trimester, but you never see me in my third trimester. And because of that, you made the assumption in my first trimester, I ain't got nothing going on. He looks at them and he said, go through the trimester, because at the end of the trimester, you are going to go straight into somebody else. You are going to go straight into labor pain. Would you tell your neighbor, say, I've been through all trimester? Tell him, but I came to the ER this morning because I can't carry this baby another month. I can't carry it another week. I can't carry it another year. In fact, my water just broke. Okay, I'm sorry. I just like to teach a little. I've got his plan. I've got his purpose. I've got a... But he moves me from my problem to my pain. And he said, the pain is not regular pain, it is. You don't go into labor unless you getting ready to birth something. He said, the pain you're feeling is not because of your past, it's because of your future. It's not because of what you lost, it's what you're about to gain. It's not because you're broke, it's because you're blessed. Because the devil don't mess with nobody who ain't got nothing going on. Would you pull your neighbor by the hand and say, neighbor, if you ain't got it going on, the devil won't be messing with you. But if he's messing with you, it's because you're just about to go into... He said, okay, now that you are in pain, now that you are in affliction, now that you're bent over, crawling on the floor, acting like you're about to lose your mind. I need about 300 women in here who say, you on my street, you must have eaten my email. Because I want to suggest this morning that your praise didn't get you here, your pain drove you here. Because if you didn't have the pain you had, you would have stayed home this year. But the reason why you came to Dallas is because you bent over. He said, and everybody not gonna get this one. He said, because you are in pain and there's no stopping the pain, the only thing left to do is you got to push. I'll see y'all later. I'll see y'all later. Would you pull your neighbor by the hand and say, neighbor, I've been carrying this pain for too long, but I'm about to open my mouth, stretch my leg, and I'm about... need 1,000 of y'all to scream up in here like you're about to push something out. Push a breakthrough out. Push a... I'm in the Bible. In verse 10, he said, be in pain and labor. Tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, we came on Labor Day weekend because there's something that something inside of me. Come on, tell your neighbor. Say, neighbor, if there is nothing inside of you, just sit there and look cute. But I came to holler. Okay. Just do me a favor and touch and push on their back. Say, neighbor, it's time to push that praise out. Come on, it's time to push that shout out. It's time to push that holler. Somebody scream. It's like fire, fire, fire.
I am so sure that you enjoyed that message and you're motivated to birth whatever God has inside of you. You've got to bring forth. The whole creation is groaning and moaning, waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God and the daughters of God spring forth. We love you. See you soon.
To get where God wants you, you have to be on the move.
What you used to be satisfied with, you're not satisfied with anymore. And all of a sudden, you don't fit in the places you used to fit in. They say things like, you forgot where you came from. I didn't forget it, I just can't stay in it.
With your gift of any size, you'll receive the message On the Move from Woman Thou Art Loosed on CD.
If I've got to pull and tug, I've got to get out. I've got too much vision to stay in this rut.
And when your gift is $75 or more, you'll receive the entire 6-DVD series Woman Thou Art Loosed at MegaFest.
Every stubborn thing that stood in my life and said, you've got to stay where you started, somebody holler, no!
However, with your gift of $145 or more, you'll receive the On the Move gift set that includes a custom tote bag, the Woman Thou Art Loosed 6-DVD series, and the Colliding with Destiny and the Princess Within books. Move into your destiny today.
Would you lean forward? Let me tell you a secret. God is raising up women who ain't just trying to be pretty, but want to produce. God help. God, I wish I had. Tell your neighbor, say, I may not be pretty, but I'm getting ready to produce. I'm getting ready to put something. Open your mouth and say, neighbor, I may not be pretty, I may not be cute, but I'm here. And while I'm here,
This